All new Dr. Phil today.
I want you out of my house. You're a piece of crap.
A couple headed for divorce.
Do you have a relationship outside your marriage?
I talked to someone for advice.
Did you kiss him? I'm giving you advice. You gonna kiss me?
But when the truth comes out...
He started dating first. I started dating, and now I'm the bad person? Explain that to me.
Are you married?
Yes.
Under what theory does being married and dating come in the same sentence? What do you want?
I want my family back.
The show takes a turn.
Is there something that I can help you with?
No, there's not.
Do you weigh 93 pounds?
This is not why I came on this show today. I came for help for my kids and for help with my marriage. I really just want to leave now.
You know as Child Protective Services, that is child abuse. And you stop it or I will stop you. Coming up. Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by, camera 6.
If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Stand by A, and rolling, check in.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Okay, now we have all heard the expression home sweet home, but for many couples this sentiment just could not be further from the truth. And the whole purpose of doing this kind of a show is because every house looks the same. You drive down the street and there's 2.2 kids, a barking dog, a couple of cars in the driveway, but what happens behind those closed doors? And if what you're going to see today is happening in your home, it's not right. It's not even almost right. If there are children involved, it is not even almost right. Take your own inventory today. Here, we're going to meet a couple whose home is turned into a battlefield. And the only way they can remain together is by living apart. I'll explain when we get into it. Jeremy and Jeannie fight 3 to 5 times a day. During one of those arguments, Jeremy called the police and Jeannie was arrested for domestic abuse. Take a look.
My house is a battlefield in a war zone. Jenny has bitten me, hit me, clawed me, kicked me. I am petrified of the monster that she's become.
I'm not an angry person, just angry with Jeremy. I want you out of my house. You're a piece of crap.
When Jenny gets upset, she clenches her fists, she grits her teeth, and she turns bright red. That happens 4 or 5 times every day.
Do you think I'm stupid? Jeremy knows how to push my buttons. He's very passive-aggressive. He'll either laugh at me, or he ignores me, or he tells me I'm overreacting.
One time, Jenny made a threat. If she had a gun, she'd kill me.
We both lash out at one another.
I don't give a You're immature and talk to yourself.
I call him almost every time that we fight. When Jeremy told me he wanted a divorce,
and to have me arrested for kidnapping.
You know what, Jack? You and I are over.
I completely lost control.
She had her keys wedged in her knuckles and she just started swinging at me. I caught one of them in the ear, one right by my eye, and then a huge gash in my chest.
20 minutes later, the police were at my home. They arrested me for domestic battery. Jeremy and I are currently separated, but he spends the night here every night.
There is a lot of mistrust between Jenny and I.
Corey said you were searching through my phone again.
My wife is lying to me about seeing one of her ex-boyfriends.
Jeremy's very controlling. I feel resentful towards him.
You're trying to make me look like I don't contribute.
Okay, sorry, you gave me $200. He's never supported us financially. Why would you care if I'm spending a lot of money? Because it'd be my own money. Throughout our whole marriage, I have worked 2 jobs. If he really loved me, he would see that I'm stressed and overworked. This isn't how marriage should be.
I absolutely love my wife, but our marriage will not work unless she gets healthy.
Okay, are you happy in your life?
No.
Are you happy in your marriage?
No.
Are you happy with yourself?
No.
How do you answer that question? How do you feel about being here in a process for change?
I want change. I feel like
with this process and my staff, how seriously I take this?
I have.
Because I'm going to make a prediction that you're not ever going to find anybody that's going to work harder on your behalf than the guy you're looking at right now. Because I'm either 100% in or I'm 100% out. Are you giving me the same back?
Absolutely.
I mean, are you prepared to do that? Are you prepared to do that? Because you can come in here and try to cover your ass. You can come in here and be defensive. You can come in here to justify nonsensical behavior, or you can come in here and just peel it back and say, look, we're here, we want to be honest, and we want to get this right.
I'm committed.
Have you been honest from the beginning?
Absolutely.
Are you being honest now?
Yeah.
I don't know where to go with this because I don't believe that. We put cameras in your home 9 days. And we're just going to forget about the cameras and just live our lives. Were you honest in front of those cameras? Did you live your life?
No.
Were you honest? Did you live your life?
Yes.
Those me, why come here at all? Because I had no opinion before I met you, so why come in here and give me a false illusion? Why would you turn the cameras off?
I didn't turn the cameras off. I was turning them on.
Why were they off?
When both of us weren't there, they were off.
What?
When both of us were not there, they were off.
Okay, well, let's take a look. Let's take a look at some of your comments when the cameras were on.
Jeremy, you went out and started my car for me this morning? You've never done that in our 8 years of marriage, ever. You are so fake on these cameras, I can't handle it. Jared, you've never folded a blanket in your life.
Oh my gosh.
Why didn't you fix the hole when you got pissed at me and you threw a knife? The cameras weren't on then. They weren't on to watch Jeremy chuck a knife into the wall.
What fight are you talking about?
Well, we were fighting one night and he threw a fork, it was a fork, into the wall and put a big hole in my wall.
Why did you do that?
Because she wouldn't kiss me.
About that, she attacked you, and what is this? You attacked him with keys in your hand? You had keys sticking out between your fingers?
I had the car keys in my hand because I was trying to get the kids out of the car because he had it locked. They were in my hand and I pulled his shirt and scratched him with my car keys.
That's not the whole story, is it?
No.
It's a little more animated than that. Tell me about it.
I was pulling my kids out of the car, and she came up from behind me with her keys like that.
On purpose?
On purpose.
So she made a weapon out of them?
She did.
And did what?
She started hitting me with them.
Is that true or false? Tell the truth.
Started hitting you with my car keys?
Yeah.
I didn't hit him with my
Forget about him. I don't care if you win an argument with him or not. I mean, that is, let me tell you, that is so not my interest. I don't care who's right or wrong because you're both so wrong. I mean, it's so far from being rational. I just want to know, did you get mad and attack him with the keys?
Hitting him with my car keys? No.
So he's lying.
Yeah, I wasn't hitting him
Well, how
with
do you
my
feel
car
about the
keys.
fact that I ask all of you, you're going to come here and be honest in the first situation asking about he lies?
Well, I wasn't hitting him with my car keys.
No, that wasn't the question. The question is, how do you feel about the first situation I asked him about he lies?
It's frustrating.
Is he lying?
Yes.
One of you's lying. Either she's lying or you're lying. Which one of you's lying?
I did not hit him with my car keys. I scratched him with my car
I
keys.
just want to deal with, I want to deal with the truth. Because I can't fix what I don't know. You can't change what you don't acknowledge, right? So we got to get it out there.
Dr. Phil, I was holding my 1-year-old, and I had to push my 1-year-old back into the car because I was afraid my 1-year-old was going to get hit. It wasn't an accident.
I would never hit my 1-year-old, and you know that.
Not on purpose.
Well, I got a lot of questions for y'all and some serious advice. Are you in for a penny, in for a pound? Do you want to hear it?
Yep.
I'm sorry?
I wouldn't, yes, but I would never hurt my kids, and you knows that.
Okay, well, we're going to get to that. I want you 100% here or 100% gone. This is your chance. This is your children's chance to turn something around.
Okay.
Are your kids worth it?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, all right, we're going to take a break. We're going to continue this conversation when we come back. I mean, don't happen in a vacuum. And I don't believe there are any accidents. We create our own experience. What are these two doing to create that experience? And what is the penalty that the kids are paying? We'll be right back.
One time I came home from work, Jenny had Cody pinned in a quarter, poking her in the chest. Cody was just petrified, and I could hear Jenny just screaming uncontrollably at Cody. I feel like if I'm not there, Jenny will take it out on Cody.
My kids are having a hard time because of the fighting. My 5-year-old's exhibiting signs of depression.
My oldest daughter, Cody, feels completely responsible.
I ask her every morning if she wants cold lunch or hot lunch. Do I not, Cody?
Yes, you do.
Okay, so why'd you just say I don't ever do this?
Cody left the milk out. I got in trouble for it, and she came up to me and said, "Dad, I'm sorry for leaving the milk out." One time I came home from work and I could hear Jenny just screaming uncontrollably at Cody, and I could hear Cody just sobbing. Jenny had Cody basically pinned in a quarter, poking her in the chest, and Cody was just petrified. I actually had to physically get myself between Jenny and Cody. I fear for Cody. I feel like if I'm not there, Jenny will take it out on Cody.
Well, we're back talking about when your home life just can turn into an absolute war zone. Now, Jeremy and Jenny are involved in an 8-year marriage that's filled with anger and rage. Now, let me tell you what I know for sure. This is the only thing that I am confident of to the core of my soul, and that is that you are not an evil and vicious woman. I know that. I know that about you. I know these things. It's my job. I do not believe that you are an evil and vicious man. I don't think that you want to cause her pain. I don't think that you want your children to pick up the tab for all of the toxic behavior that's going on. That would be crazy. That would be psycho. That would be evil. Since you're not evil, why have you two defined this toxic bed of pain that you call a marriage and a home? What's going on?
We don't get along. I don't feel like we help one another. I don't feel like it's equal in the home at all.
Let's just talk about you for a minute. Or would you like me to start with him? I don't care.
No, that's fine.
We'll start with you? Because I'm not taking sides here. I don't care. I got a laundry list for both of you people. I just want to know why you're doing what you're doing. You didn't grow up as a little girl and say, I just want to be miserable. I want to have some kids and punish them for being alive. I want to find a man, get him to marry me and make his life miserable. Was that what you dreamed about as a little girl?
No.
Then what the hell's going on? I mean, let's just use common sense. What's going on?
I just think I'm unhappy, and it's affecting. This isn't the kind of marriage that I wanted to have.
Oh, you're more than unhappy. What are you so pissed off about?
I don't know.
Do you have a monster temper?
Yes, I have a temper.
3 to 5 times a day, according to him, you can just go.
Well, that's funny because we don't even see each other 3 to 5 times a day.
Well, but
so.
you have. You have. Don't try to be right. See, you immediately, anytime it involves him, you try to be right. You are a right fighter. I don't care about that. Do you have a drinking problem?
No.
Do you have an eating disorder?
In the past and at times
Be
in my life,
honest.
yes, I've had an eating disorder. Right now, no, I do not believe I have one right now. I think I'm doing better than I have done before in the past.
Do you say things for shock value?
Yes.
Have you been telling him, I'm going to date other guys? You are not what I want. I want an divorce. I hate you, you stupid ass. Is that kind of the rhetoric that we're talking about here when you're mad at him?
Yes.
You blew up on your wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy says you went into a rage on your wedding day.
I wouldn't call it a rage.
Are you dating somebody else?
No.
Are you seeing somebody else? I mean, don't
No.
play semantics with me.
No,
Do you have a relationship outside your marriage?
I talked to someone that I've talked to for advice, but no, I don't see him. I haven't seen him, and no, I am not dating anybody else.
You talked to him for advice?
Yeah, I have in the past. Yeah, we were separated, and we both dated other people.
Did you kiss him?
In February of last year, we were not together.
Okay, I'm giving you advice. You think she's involved with somebody else?
Yes.
Why does he think that?
Because I've talked to him on the phone.
Have you threatened him with this guy? Have you said, you either get back here, you move back in, you do this, you do that, or I'm going to be with this guy?
No, I've said that you either need to move back in and figure out what you're going to do, or I'm going to start dating. Like that I'm going to be done.
No.
I can't go back and forth like this.
Okay, but
This other guy,
Sure.
okay? We broke up. He started dating first. I started dating, and now I'm the bad person? Explain that to me.
I'm getting to him. I'm getting to him. I'm talking to you right now. You married?
Yes.
Okay, under what theory does being married and dating come in the same sentence?
I
don't
am
care
not
whether he did it or
dating
not.
him. I haven't even seen him.
But have you been involved with this guy?
When we weren't together.
But you were still married.
But
Okay, and you've done the same thing.
I went on a date.
You went out with somebody?
I did.
How'd that work for you?
It was horrible.
How'd it work for you?
he was very nice to me.
The date wasn't horrible. I felt uncomfortable with it.
Okay. Jenny's family believes that her relationship with Jeremy is a dead-end street, that she would be better off divorced. So I'm going to ask them to weigh in on this as we move along. We'll be right back.
My family gossips. They talk about everyone's problems behind their back.
Jenny's family is way too involved in our relationship.
Jenny calls me every day and tells me about their fights, or she fights in front of me. I don't know how I could not be involved.
Jenny never eats.
She puts her 7- and 5-year-old daughters on diets.
Jenny has made my daughter run laps around our backyard.
Okay, Jenny and Jeremy married 8 years ago. Now, their fights have gotten so violent that she was arrested for domestic abuse. Now, her family became involved for the sake of their 3 daughters. In fact, they wrote to me about this. Now, her family blames part of her extreme rage on an obsession that they say she has. Take a look at this.
Jenny's had an eating disorder for about 15 years.
It's been kind of like the elephant in the room, but nobody wants to really address it.
I've witnessed her throwing up many times.
I remember her eating with us as a family and always finding a way to leave the room to go to the bathroom.
The last time that I checked, she was, I think, 93 pounds. It makes you sick to watch someone that you love basically killing themselves. She never eats. She's had liposuction 3 times. She runs at least 7 miles every day.
It has gotten so bad that she puts her 7- and 5-year-old daughters on diets. Jenny has a 3-year-old, and I fear that she'll put her on a diet soon.
Jenny has also made my daughter Cody run laps around our backyard in order to earn something.
Courtney looked at herself in the mirror last year when she was 5 and said she thinks that she's fat.
I think her mom has warped her mind of what not to eat and how much.
She's picked up on worrying about getting fat. My daughter will not drink Kool-Aid because it's got sugar in it. She's 7.
Her kids don't get what a healthy diet is.
I definitely think that they are susceptible to having an eating disorder.
I think Jenny has a hard time loving herself, and because of that, it's hard for her to love her children.
Your family is concerned. I don't know if you have an eating disorder or not. You look like you do. Is that an issue with you?
You know, I'm not even gonna go here with this, because really, if my family wants to sit here and say this to me, they all need to take another look at everything that everyone does in my family, because I think we have all struggled at times. No, I'm not gonna say I don't ever have an eating disorder. I've never had one. No, I'm not. But I mean, and I have never, ever put my 7- and 5-year-old on a diet, nor would I ever do that to them.
Well, forget about being mad at people who point the finger. Is there something that I can help you with?
There's not.
Okay, so you're just, do you weigh 93 pounds?
No, actually, I weigh 104. I'll get on the scale right now.
This is your family down here. They're just wrong.
I weighed 93 pounds a year ago. Yeah.
Okay. Are y'all wrong about this? No. What do you say? Are you concerned about her?
I'm very concerned about her. You can't keep going and running every day and not feeding your body and survive.
Is your mother wrong?
You know, this is not why I came on the show today. I came on a show for help for my kids and for help with my marriage, and honestly, I feel like I am being tricked, and
to me earlier was not true. Because you said you were 100% here or 100% gone. I'm getting ready to start talking to him. I'm trying to get a to-do list for you. Now, you got a choice to make, and you're telling me right now that with everything that you've disclosed to me, the anger and the rage, that you just want to go home. And you can do that. Listen, I'm not keeping you here. You can do that. You know as well as I do, you don't know what to do to get out of this. You don't know how to change this pattern, and you know you are modeling for your children. You are modeling for your children in a very negative way. Yeah. And you know that you're that far from Child Protective Services coming in there and intervening. You know that, do you not? You've been arrested once. You two are fighting and yelling and screaming. Do you think that at some point they're not going to intervene if you don't turn this around? I'm offering you the help. You turn it down, you turn it down. I can't, I'm not going to chase you, and I certainly am not going to keep you here against your will. You know what you're doing is not right and will not stand on it. Do you think what you're doing is right in this situation?
No.
We've been talking to her. I've asked her the hard questions. I think she's in denial about a lot of things. Are you?
There's a lot of things that I do to contribute to the disharmony in my home.
Why do you two want to be married? Or do you? Do you just want a divorce?
No.
What do you want?
I want my family back.
You say you have slapped her to calm her down. You've called her slut. You got your 7-year-old out of bed to tell her that her mother's a slut. But yet you tell me that you want, you tell me that you want your family?
He's never said I was a slut to Cody. I don't know who told him that. He said Mom wants to be with.
I don't want to get your family in trouble again, but that's certainly the story they're telling.
Well, I don't know.
Well, we're going to find out what Cody told her aunt in the car when we come back. And I'm going to tell you, you can give up and quit. You can give up and quit. I don't quit. I do not quit. I am committed to turning this thing around. I can't talk to myself. We'll see who's here when we come back.
It's hard for our family to get along with Jenny. She thrives on drama.
Nobody else fights or bickers. There's just something about Jenny.
I really hope Jenny and Jeremy can see what they're doing to their kids. But I'm afraid that nothing will change, and then somebody could end up getting hurt.
Well, Jeremy says his wife Jenny has a, quote, monster bad temper. Now, they have 3 kids who are unfortunately subjected to this household. Now, right now, they're separated, but yet Jeremy does spend the night there. Now, Jenny's family believes that Jenny and Jeremy should just call it quits. With all the drama, they refuse to stand by and watch them do what they say is destroying these kids' lives. Take a look, and then we'll talk about it.
The kids are confused with the separation.
My nieces don't know whose house they're staying at that night. It's just really unstable.
Their parents are separated, and then at night, Jeremy still spends the night. They don't know what the situation is.
Cody has told me that they're divorced, but they're not divorced.
I cry thinking about what those girls go through at night.
What do you think as you watch that? What goes through your mind?
I'm ashamed.
Look through their eyes. How does this look to them? Understand they're small. They don't have power. They don't have vocabulary. They don't have the ability to control or make you stop. What does this look like to your children?
I can't even imagine.
What do you think?
I think they're scared.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. When you fight in front of your children, it changes who they are. Because children have the unique fault. They will go to their rooms and they will figure out in their own minds what they did wrong to cause this. If they weren't here, if they didn't make so much noise, if they didn't have to eat, if they didn't need attention, that this wouldn't happen. They figure out how it's their fault. They fill in the negatives to their detriment. That's what you're concerned about, right, Emily?
Yeah, I'm very concerned about that.
She said to you in the car what she was seeing. She said she wanted to leave, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Broke my heart. I have those girls all the time, and they're just really, really affected by this. It has to stop.
How do you define success? I want you to think about that, and I'm going to ask you to answer that question when we come back.
My sister-in-law Jenny and her husband Jeremy have a poisonous relationship.
Jenny's family is a huge hurdle that we have to overcome.
I feel like they all are way too quick to give me advice.
Jenny and Jeremy should get a divorce because it's ruining their children.
Your marriage is crumbling. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It's just crumbling, and their family's in chaos. The problem is that crumbling process, somebody has to pay for that. And it all rolls downhill. At the bottom of that hill are the children. And those children get hit in the head with every rage, every fear, every problem. Do with her until she leaves Jeremy for good. So you want her to get rid of him?
I do. I love Jeremy, but they just can't get along. And it's just, I feel like it's just never going to stop. And meanwhile, these little girls' childhood is being completely destroyed.
So is it any of your business?
Well, she makes
really, are
it
you
my
getting
business.
in her business where you don't belong?
She makes it my business because every time they fight, she calls me, she calls anybody in our family and tells us the whole story. Probably not the right story, but she makes it our business.
She invites you in.
She does.
She asks for advice. She does, and we give her what we think.
Or she fights in front of us.
Is that true?
Yeah.
So they do have a stake in this because you've invited them into it, and they're interested in the children. How do you feel about the fact that they say they want you out of here, Jack? They want you gone.
I don't think it'll fix the problem, but maybe it might help. I don't know. I hope that that's not the answer.
Mm-hmm. Jeremy's the problem. She believes that Jenny's a walking time bomb. Is that right, Angie?
I do.
Why?
I do know that she has an eating disorder, just like her family said. I know that when I helped Jeremy move out, when they separated about a year ago, we needed a dresser for Jeremy, and so I went through moving her stuff out, and there were little bottles tucked away of expectorants and diuretics. I found several hidden all over her room, and I know her anger. I've heard it firsthand.
Listen, every relationship needs a hero. They need somebody to step up and take it to another level. Not to be a right fighter, not to justify their behavior, but to say, this relationship needs a hero. I'm going to rise above the fray, and I'm going to lead us out of this maze. That's what you ought to be doing as a husband and as a father and as a leader in this family, and you are falling short. Jenny, you have to be honest. You just have to be honest about things. I mean, you got an anger problem. You probably have an eating disorder. I can't say that with 100% accuracy, but I would bet my house and all I could gather on it. And if I had any doubts about that, it was confirmed when you got so defensive when I asked you about it. Because I understand people with eating disorders want to be alone with their disease. A blind man can see what's going on, but you want to pretend that it isn't true, which means you can't change what you don't acknowledge. There's so much wrong here, and then you two separate, you start seeing other people. He says you spent the weekend with some guy at a cabin. He says he saw you kiss this guy. He says that you're talking.
No.
Then if you're at least honest about it, because you got to ask yourself, have you ever heard that old saying, I wouldn't join any club that would have me as a member? You know, right now, you two don't want to be dating anybody else. Who would want to hook up and buy into this kind of situation? Tell me why you're so upset right now.
I feel like I'm really being picked on in this show. I don't think I'm the whole problem.
What, did you, no, listen, here, look at me. Did you miss the part where I just told him he ain't doing his job, he needs to be a leader, he needs to step up, he is falling short of his role and his job in here? Did you not hear me say that?
Yes, I did.
No, I'm serious. I want you to hear me say that. I don't want you to think that this is that we're just going to fry you up today, because that's not what this is about. Listen, one log won't burn. It takes the two of you to define this so toxically. It takes the two of you to fix this. You heard me say to him, you heard me say, Jeremy, you are part of the problem. You are not part of the solution. How can you then look at me and say you're getting picked on and it's all your fault and he's not getting any focus in this?
Okay, fine.
I mean, it probably just feels that way when you're getting talked to, and we all hear the things that hit us more closely. Do you think that this is all her fault?
No.
Because let me assure you, it's not. I'm surprised to hear her say that, because this is, as you two say, the way they come together.
They're like oil and water. They don't mix.
All right, is there hope for this family, and what do we do in this situation? I've got some very specific 1, 2, 3 action steps when we come back.
I have a huge fear of being alone.
Sometimes I feel like my family life is more peaceful when Jeremy's not around, but I want him to be around because we're a family and my kids want him around.
Jenny, I believe, definitely has OCD.
Jenny's really obsessed with her house being clean. She's obsessed with her kids looking perfect all the time.
She would vacuum her floor and then crawl across it because she didn't want to leave footprints in the carpet.
Well, Jenny and Jeremy's fiery fights have led to Jeremy getting his own apartment. Jenny's filed for divorce, but says she still loves Jeremy and wants to work it out. Do y'all want to make an effort to try to solve this?
Yeah.
You said that you did. Do you? Or is it time to...
I have mixed emotions. They're different every day on how I really feel.
Why'd you marry him?
Because I loved him.
What was it about him that swept you off your feet?
Everything.
I mean, think back to that time.
I was attracted to him. He was very kind to me. He always opened the car. He was a gentleman. Mm-hmm. We had fun together.
Have you changed?
Yeah.
But now you just try to control
her. I don't feel like I try and control her. Maybe.
For God's sakes, you follow her. You follow her, right? You followed her around. That's how you knew she was kissing this other guy. You hid in the bushes and you followed her.
She was lying to me.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But the point is, if she wants out, you can't build a high enough fence to keep her in. If she wants to go have an affair, you can't watch her enough. If he wants to have an affair, if he wants to date, you just got to decide, you're either going to have integrity in this situation or you're not. Number one, you two have to make a resolve that your number one priority in this life, your number one responsibility in this life, your number one calling in this life is to nurture your children. That's number one. That's number one. Number two, see number one. Children, children, children. You got a lot of healing to do with these children. And what it means is you got to have enough control that you're not yelling and screaming and fussing and fighting and cussing and throwing and name calling and breaking in front of the children. That is abuse. That is child abuse. Ugly words. Hear them. That is child abuse. And you stop it or I will stop you. Now, what I'm asking you to do is just resolve, we don't have to like each other, we don't have to get along, we don't even have to stay married, but we are not going to subject our children to that kind of abuse. We're going to take it outside, we're going to take it private, and we're going to keep it private. If you have disagreements, and you do, and you have pain, and you do, then maybe that needs to be vented some. It certainly needs to be healed some, but you don't do it in front of the children. You have to ask yourselves, number three, what it is that you're doing to contribute to the problems. You don't need to worry about what she's doing to contribute to the problems. You need to worry about what you're doing. This isn't a standoff. Well, I'll stop if she'll stop. No, no, no. You just have to decide you're going to do it. You have to decide, honestly, what am I doing? Am I a bad model for my girls? Do I have an eating disorder? If I do, I need to get that right. It's not fair to infect my girls with that. You have to decide if you have anger issues, if you have fidelity problems, if you've got those issues, you're going to deal with those, but you're not going to ask the children to deal with it. They're not going to be pawns in the middle of this. Now, I will help you do that. I will provide you resources, really good quality resources, individually and collectively, as a couple and a family, to work through this if you will do it. But you've got to decide, I got some damage control to do for these children here. And you guys, I want you to let me do what I need to do. You don't need to be pressuring her, him to get a divorce, do this. That may be exactly where this is headed, but let's let that play out. Mom, do you agree with that?
I agree.
And I will make resources available to you. And you can go in there and con them and waste the time, or you can embrace it and truly turn this around and heal yourselves and this family. You have beautiful children. I got to say that for y'all. You make pretty babies. And you make wonderful kids. I mean, seriously. Will you take the help? Jeremy, will you do it?
Absolutely.
Jenny, will you take the help?
Yep.
We'll be right back. We've been talking today about family, and you know, there's just nothing more important, but you have to look at things through the children. We'll have many, many points on drphil.com so you can visit them. There are men and women in uniform with us. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate y'all and what you do. Please stand up. Thank you so much for being here. drphil.com. So long.